Hi, good afternoon. All right. So our topic for this afternoon is about kisay magatagan. It's about Hinduism. Okay. So it's about Hinduism. By the way, Hinduism is the world's oldest religion. According to many scholars, it has roots and customs dating back more than 4,000 years today. So, with 1 billion followers, Hinduism is the third largest religion worldwide after Christianity and Islam. Roughly about 94% of the world's Hindus lived in India. Because the religion has no specific founder, it's difficult to trace its origins to history. Hinduism is a unique in that it's not a single religion but a compilation of many traditions and philosophies. Hindus worship a number of different gods and minor deities, honor a range of symbols, respects several different holy books, and celebrate with a wide variety of traditions, holidays, and customs. So, though the development of the caste system in India was influenced by Hindu concepts, it has been what you call this? It has been shaped throughout history by political as well as religious movements, and today is much less rigidly enforced. Today, there are four major sects of Hinduism. We have the Shaivism, Vaishnava, Shaktism, and Smarta, as well as a number of other smaller sects with their own religious practice. Okay. By the way, in this topic, we'll be talking of the beliefs and symbols, holy books. Uh, some parts of this we'll be talking also about the regions of Hinduism, Mahatma Gandhi, and all those sort. Okay. Okay. So where are we? By the way, there are some basic, Hindu concepts. Okay, so number one, Hinduism embraces many religious ideas. For this reason, it's sometimes referred to as a way of life or a family of religions, such as opposed to a single organized religion. Most forms of Hinduism are henotheistic, which means that they worship a single deity known as Brahman, but still recognize other gods and goddesses. Followers believe that there are multiple paths to reaching their God. Hindus believe in the doctrines of samsara. This is the continuous cycle of life, death, and reincarnation, and karma, which is the universal law of cause and effect. One of the key thoughts of Hinduism is the Atman, or the belief in soul. So this philosophy holds that living creatures have a soul and they're all part of the Supreme Soul. So the goal is to achieve moksha, or salvation, which ends up the cycle of rebirths to become part of the Absolute Soul. Another is, one fundamental principle of the religion is the idea that people's actions and thoughts directly determine their current life and future lives. So in here, we can always know that Hindus strive to achieve Dharma. Okay, so this Dharma is a code of living that emphasizes good conduct and morality. Hindus, on the other hand, they revere all living creatures and consider the cow a sacred animal. By the way, food is an important part of life for Hindus. Most don't eat beef or pork, and many are vegetarians. So, this Hinduism is closely related to other Indian religions, including Buddhism, Sikhism, and Jainism. By the way, there are two primary symbols associated with Hinduism, the Om and the Swastika. The swastika means good fortune or being happy in Sanskrit, and the symbol represents good luck. So it is, when you say swastika is a hooked diagonal variation of the swastika, which later became associated with Germany's Nazi party. Okay, when they made it their symbol in 1920. And the Om symbol is composed of three Sanskrit letters. Represents three sounds, A, U, M, Om, which combined are considered a sacred sound. The Om symbol is often found at family shrines in Hindu temples. Okay. Una na siya, atong nagatanan. Okay. Now, we'll come to the holy books. What are the holy books of this Hinduism? And by the way, Hindus value many sacred writings as opposed to one holy book. So the primary sacred texts known as the Vedas were composed around 1500 BC. So this collection of verses and hymns was written in Sanskrit and contains revelations received by ancient saints and sages. So the Vedas are made up of, so the Rig Veda, the Sama Veda, Yajur Veda, and the Atharva Veda. So Hindus believe that the Vedas transcend all time and don't have a beginning or an end. The Upanishads, on the other hand, the Bhagavad Gita, the 18 Puranas, Ramayana, and Mahabharata are also considered important texts. In Hinduism. Okay, so you can see it here. Okay, you can read it. Oh, these are very holy books. Now we'll go to the Hindu gods. Okay. By the way, before going to that, let me narrate the regions of Hinduism. Most scholars, they believe that Hinduism started somewhere 2300 BC and 1500 BC in the Indus Valley near modern-day Pakistan. But many Hindus argue that their faith is timeless and has always existed. So unlike other religions, Hinduism has no founder, but instead a fusion of various beliefs. So around 1500 BC, the Indo-Aryan people migrated to the Indus Valley, and their language and culture blended with that of the indigenous people living in the region. So there's some debate over who influenced whom more during this time. The period when the Vedas were composed became known as the Vedic period and lasted from 1500 BC to 500 BC. Rituals such as the sacrifices and the chanting were common in the Vedic period. So the epic, Puranic, and classical period took place between 500 BC and AD 500. So the Hindus began to emphasize the worship of deities, especially Vishnu, Shiva, and Devi. So the concept of Dharma was introduced in the new text and other faiths such as Buddhism, Jainism, and which spread rapidly. So how is this Hinduism and differ from Buddhism? Hinduism and Buddhism many have similarities. Buddhism, in fact, arose out of Hinduism, and both believe in reincarnation, karma, and that a life of devotion and honor is a path to salvation and enlightenment. But some key difference exists between the two religions. Many strains of Buddhism reject the caste system and do away of the rituals, the priesthood, and the gods that are integral to the Hindu faith. When we talk of the medieval and the modern Hindu history, so the medieval period of Hinduism lasted about AD 500 to 1500. New texts emerged, and poet saints recorded their spiritual sentiments during this time. So in the 7th century, Muslim Arabs began invading areas in India. So during the parts of the Muslim period, which lasted about 1200 to 1757, Islamic rulers prevented Hindus from worshipping their deities, and some temples were destroyed. Okay. By the way, before we talk of the places of worship, let us talk first of this Mahatma Gandhi. Okay. So between 1757 and 1947, British controlled India at first. The new rulers allowed Hindus to practice their religion without interference. But the British soon attempted to exploit aspects of Indian culture as leverage points for political control, in some cases exacerbating Hindu caste divisions, even as they promoted westernized Christian approaches. So many reformers emerged during the British period. The well-known politician and peace activist in the name of Mahatma Gandhi led a movement that pushed for India's independence. So the partition of India occurred in 1947, and Gandhi was assassinated in 1948. British India was split into what we are now the independent nations of India and Pakistan, and Hinduism became the major religion of India. Okay. So starting in the 1960s, many Hindus migrated to North America and Britain, spreading their faith and philosophies to the Western world. Okay. Now, what do I have here? Okay, now let's talk of the places of worship. We'll talk of the Hindu gods. Okay, okay. As I promised, in here, Hindu gods. Oh yeah, there. Okay, the Hindu gods. So Hindus worship many gods and goddesses in addition to Brahman, who is believed to be the supreme god force present in all things. Some of the prominent deities include Brahma, the god responsible for the creation of the world and all living things. We have Vishnu, the god that preserves and protects the universe. We have Shiva, the god that destroys the universe in order to recreate it. We have Devi, the goddess that fights to restore Dharma. We also have Krishna, the god of compassion, tenderness, and love. Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and purity. And Saraswati, the goddess of learning. So those are the gods, okay? Gods. Now let's talk of the places of worship. Hindus, they worship, which is generally known as the puja, typically takes place in the mandir, okay, in the temple. So following of Hinduism can visit the mandir anytime they please. So Hindus can worship at home, and many have a special shrine dedicated to certain gods and goddesses. So the giving offerings is an important part of Hindu worship. It's a common practice to present gifts such as flowers or oils to a god or goddess. Additionally, many Hindus take pilgrimages to temples and other sacred sites in India. By the way, when we talk of this, as I told you earlier, there are also, Hindu sects, okay? And just like Catholicism, their sex is the born again. Okay, this Hinduism also have sex. Hinduism has many sects, and the following are often considered as the four major denominations. We have Shaivism, the world one of the largest denominations of Hinduism. Okay, and Shiva, okay, as their supreme deity. And then we have Vaishnavism, considered as a large Hindu sect, which is estimated 640 million followers. Okay, recognizes the deities of Vishnu, Lakshmi, Krishna, and Rama. Then we also have Shaktism. Okay, so Shaktism, they practice what we call this monotheistic religion. Okay, so they follow traditional worship and number of goddesses. The female-centered denomination is sometimes considered complementary to Shaivism. Okay. So then we have what do you call this? Hindus, Vishnu, okay, they have Smartism, Vishnu, Shiva, Devi, and Ganesh, and Surya. Okay, so their temple at Srigiri is generally recognized as a center of worship for the denomination. Okay, that comes for Smartism. Smartism. So some Hindus elevate the Hindu Trinity, which consists of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Others believe that all the deities are the manifestation of one. Okay, so now we will talk of the caste system. Okay, so this caste system is a social hierarchy in India that divides Hindus based on their karma and dharma. Although the word caste is of Portuguese origin, it is used to describe aspects of the related Hindu concepts of varna, that is color or race, and the jati, birth. Many scholars believe that the system, this caste system, dates back more than 3,000 years back. By the way, there are four main castes to stay Hinduism. We have the Brahmin, the intellectual and spiritual leaders, the Kshatriyas, the protectors and public servants of society, the Vaishyas, the skillful producers, and the Shudras, the unskilled laborers. So many subcategories also exist within each case. So you say the untouchables are the class of citizens that are outside the caste system and considered to be in the lowest level of the social hierarchy. For centuries, the caste system determined most aspects of a person's social, professional, and religious status in India. So when India became an independent nation, its constitution banned discrimination based on caste. Till today, the caste system still exists in India, but is loosely followed. Many of the customs were overlooked, but some traditions, such as only marrying within specific caste, are still embraced. So, so with this, Hindus, okay, they observe Diwali. Okay, this is one of the sacred holidays and festivals. Diwali, it is the festival of lights. Navaratri, the celebration of fertility and harvest. The Holi, a spring festival. Krishna Janmashtami, a tribute to Krishna's birthday. Raksha Bandhan, a celebration of the bond between sister and brother and sister. And we have the last as the Mahashrivaratri, the festival of Shiva. Okay, so as you can note, Hinduism is so vast that even by the discussion of it, it's not a 30 or 15-minute discussion of this is not enough to tackle it all. But I understand you have your copies. All right. So, well, you have to reserve your questions the moment we see each other. Okay. So see you around. Thank you for listening. Lumi is coming.